Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode. A travel writer was writing about the Villas Otac Paraíso neighborhood in Cancun, Mexico, for a YouTube report. He wanted to show off the most dangerous and aggressive neighborhood in the area, but what he found by mistake was much more interesting. Timmy Carter, a travel blogger, was dropped off at the Villas Otac market on October 12, 2022. He went up and down the rows of street sellers looking for something to eat and someone to cut his hair. He met a guy named Alex who was selling food. Carter stopped to ask if the meat on show was chicken before he talked to Alex. The street seller was very honest and said that he knew English well because he had lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, for 28 years before being sent back to Mexico. Alex started to tell Carter why he was sent away when Carter asked him why. Alex had gone to school, worked, lived with his wife in an apartment, and had 2 girls in the US. But when his oldest daughter got sick at the babysitter's and didn't want to eat when she was 24 years old, his life changed in a big way. When the 3-year-old girl got home, she was able to eat ham and eggs, but 10 minutes later she started to choke and throw up. Alex quickly drove her to the nearest hospital, which was only 5 minutes from their house, so she could get help right away. The little girl died on the way to the hospital, which was very sad. Alex found out about her death 30 minutes after they got to the hospital, and he was blamed for it. 9 days after the tragedy, Alex was arrested and told that his baby girl died because of him. He wasn't even given time to grieve in peace. He was given 3 charges, 2 of which were for not calling an ambulance and leaving his 6-month-old daughter alone at home when he took his bigger daughter to the hospital. The guy from Mexico was given a 15-year jail sentence, which he served from 2004 to 2019. I felt like I had to do something for my daughter. Alex told Carter why he didn't call an ambulance when his daughter started having trouble breathing. He knew that the hospital was close and that it would take longer for the paramedics to get there. Alex was ready to go to jail, so he told his wife, who was at work when he choked her, that they should get a divorce. He didn't want her to waste her whole life waiting for him. At 24, she was still young. But he wasn't ready for what came next. Alex didn't write to his young family while he was in prison to stay out of their lives. As he was dealing with sadness, he didn't want to hear about them or his sister. But after 10 years, something amazing happened. His ex-wife had found him and written to tell him that she had remarried and had another kid. He also got a picture of his younger daughter, Stephanie, who was only a month old the last time he saw her before going to jail. This gave Alex new hope, so he decided to give his life to her. His ex-wife told him that he would be getting a treat a week before he was meant to get out of jail. At first, the father of 2 thought she was going to send him money, but the day after he found out, she came to see him. Alex didn't know who was at his door. She saw a girl about 15 or 16 years old walking toward him, and she started crying. When he asked why she was crying, she told him he was her dad. Stephanie was the 16-year-old. Alex was happy that Stephanie wanted to meet her father, which made him cry too. Even Carter said that when he heard how things turned out, he was about to cry. Alex would soon have to leave the US and Stephanie behind, so the meeting couldn't last forever. In 2019, Alex got out of jail after doing his time and was sent back to Mexico, where he was born. The street vendor said that he didn't have a chance with a judge because his lawyer told him in no uncertain terms that the fact that he was Mexican would work against him. Alex was born in Mexico, but he didn't feel like he belonged there because he had lived and paid taxes in the US for most of his life. But he couldn't go back after he was removed because he was afraid of getting caught and having to serve more time. Alex said he had suicide thoughts when he heard he would be locked up and sent away, but he didn't do anything about them. Alex tried his best to stay out of trouble even though he lived in an area where drug gangs and other dangerous things happened, mostly at night. He sold food on the street in Cancun's market and hoped that things would get better so he could be happy again. Alex's story moved Carter so much that he gave Alex's father some money, even though the father tried to say no at first. The street vendor's story affected the writer so much that he couldn't write about Villas Otac Paraíso the way he wanted to. He still walked around the neighborhood to show how nice and helpful the people were. That's it for today, friends. Please let us know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon for more amazing stories.